All right, I'm here after the big debate here in Birmingham of the two histories. Can you tell me a bit about why these debates are organised?
Well, these debates are organised because we believe that now the time has come to transcend outdated cliches on both sides and to come together on a unique platform to have a more nuanced discussion about anything to do with religious or a-religious philosophy. And this is why we invited Dr. Ed Buckner, the president of American Atheists, one of the leading secular and atheist activists in America, to come down to discuss issues about Islam and atheism, God's existence, secularism and history, and what is the way forward. So I think, and I hope that you enjoyed participating in the debate and you thought it was slightly nuanced, it wasn't full of rhetoric and eloquence, rather there was some kind of discussion, and that's what it's all about.
Well, it's interesting and important to hear more about the history of Islam, especially with relation to science. Can you remind us a bit about some of those points from the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, I think what Adnan Rashid, one of the debaters today, tried to do is to show that, look, Europe, us Europeans living in Britain and living in Europe, we have a specific history. We have a specific historical baggage where, unfortunately, the Catholic Church used the coercive arm of the state to prevent anything that was incongruous or against their interpretation of Christian philosophy and theology. And that's why you had this kind of clash. And we're saying that Islam never had that historical baggage, if you want to put it that way. That's why you had the likes of Ibn Sina, who developed the book called the Canon of Medicine, which was used in Western Europe for 600 years. If you've had your tonsils removed in the past 30 years, that tool that was designed by one of the Muslim scholars centuries ago. So this is the kind of thinking and science that was developed, and it wasn't a historical accident. It was actually based upon the religion itself, because the Quran says, uses a very nice word, يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, in Arabic, which means for those who reflect. And this word doesn't just mean reflect and be a desert romantic, clutch at the sand, look at the stars. Rather, it means the thing that you're reflecting upon, you must inquire about its implications. That's a human value.
And a good point that was brought out is the shortcomings of Western secular society. Remind us what some of the problems are about this system, which Dr. Buckner would say is the better system.
Well, I think one of the failings of a secular society is that it cannot tolerate minorities that do not want a secular society. That's one issue. And also about unifying different people together that come from different backgrounds. You can't unify them on the concept of nation state anymore. What does it mean to be British? For me, I'm from London, I live in Hackney, I like chips, I like boxing, I like many things that could be considered British, but is that what Britishness is? For example, one of the mainstream newspapers did a survey on what does it mean to be British, and there was differing opinions. And in a secular society, with multiculturalism, with different heterogeneous groups, how do we bond people together? Can we do it in the name of secularism? I don't think so, and this is where secularism fails, in trying to bond minority and different groups together. That's one of its failings, in my opinion.
One problem we have, I think, is the idea that Muslim society is dangerous, but maybe sometimes secular society can be dangerous too.
I think all societies can be dangerous, definitely. I mean, for example, I was in Saudi Arabia, someone stole £600. Why did that happen? They were poor. Okay, fair enough. I'm from Hackney, someone took out a big knife and threatened to kill me. Is that because secularism? God knows. But the question is, all societies can be dangerous, but what we need to understand is the source of that danger. From my perspective, I don't think Islam is the source of danger in a particular society. I think the ignorance or arrogance or misinterpretation or misevaluation or misimplementation of a tradition is the problem. Similarly, in secularism, I would argue that from a secular perspective, it's a bit more harder to say that it's an absence of secularism, because secularism doesn't mean much anyway. It's just a framework for anything. That's why you can have an extreme communist materialistic perspective that you kill people, or you can have a more liberal model such as Sweden. But is that because of secularism? Again, God knows. So that's a discussion that we need to be having. I think we should be open-minded about it as well. But I think from a British perspective, it's come time now that people like yourself holding the camera come and meet with Muslims and we have a discussion. discussion, and it's time Muslims, which Muslims have failed at doing this, is basically, and I'm not culturally Muslim, I come from a Greek background, I converted to Islam 8 years ago, is for now Muslims to interact with the wider society. So you know what, we have some ideas, you disagree with them, but let's talk. And this is what we need to do. We need to start talking. Because if we're not talking, then we have this image of, you know, they're the anti-integrationist society, they're the guys hiding away, they're prevailing the bombs, and they're the evil ones. This is not the reality, and I hope today that Big Debates has actually shown that.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.